In Hage, a priest finds two babies abandoned outside his church. He takes them inside and discovers their names to be Yuno and Asta. 15 years later, Asta proposes to Sister Lily, who refuses repeatedly. Yuno and the other orphans criticize Asta and point out his lack of magic. Asta tries to show off his skills, but Yuno outshines him with his magic. Later, at the grimoire acceptance ceremony, a pair of nobles criticize the commoners there. Despite Asta not receiving a grimoire while Yuno attains a 4-leaf clover 1, Asta challenges Yuno to the title of Wizard King, but Yuno ignores him. After the ceremony, the two nobles ambush Yuno outside the tower, but Yuno overpowers them. All three are then ambushed by Revchi Salik, a former magic knight who plans to steal Yuno's grimoire and sell it. Asta comes to Yuno's rescue but fails. As Revchi breaks Asta's spirit, Yuno calls Asta his rival. Motivated by this acknowledgement, Asta decides to keep fighting, which summons a grimoire from the tower. Revchi notices that it has a 5-leaf clover, and when a large sword appears from the grimoire, Asta grabs it and the shadow of a devil appears behind him. 10 years prior, Yuno was running through a trail and suddenly fell down. Asta asked Yuno if he was okay and came close to him, so Yuno could grab his hand and get up. Asta called Yuno a crybaby and told him it is okay since he got his back. Later in the church, Lily read to Yuno and Asta a story about how the Wizard King came to exist. After a demon had brought darkness and threatened to destroy the world, a brave mage fought and defeated the demon, returning dawn to the world. Asta asked Lily if the Wizard King was an important person, to which the sister agreed and added that he was the most important person after the king. Asta stood on top of the fence outside the orphanage and told them that he had made up his mind, he would become the Wizard King. Lily seemed very surprised and Asta proceeded to list why he wanted to be the Wizard King. And Asta told her that he would help her with the laundry, for which Lily thanked him. He then told her to marry him and she immediately answered, no. When Asta grabbed Nash, he started to shake the baby in a rough way, causing Nash to cry even more. Lily was able to stop Nash crying and Asta seemed quite surprised. Rixa mocked Asta because he declared himself to be the Wizard King in the future. Father Orsi asked the orphans to deliver a letter to another town. Asta volunteered but Orsi chose Yuno instead. In the town, Yuno delivered the letter and then was accosted by a drunkard, who took the boy's necklace. Asta noted that Yuno was running late. Suddenly Asta ran in and tried to tackle the man, who knocked Asta aside. However, each time he was hit, Asta kept getting up and demanding the necklace. Seeing the bloodied and bruised boy's determination, the man eventually gave up and dropped the necklace. Yuno apologized for getting Asta hurt, but Asta reminded him that he would always have Yuno's back. 1. Back in the present, Revchi Sulik freaks out about the grimoire and sword that appeared, while a devil-shaped shadow appears on the wall behind Asta. A swing from the sword nullifies Revchi's chain magic. As he slams the sword into Revchi, Asta declares that he will become the Wizard King despite not having magic and that not giving up is his magic. Revchi is knocked unconscious and sent crashing into a wall. Asta explains that he trained his body physically since he did not have magic. Asta and Yuno
recall the promise they made to each other and reaffirm their vow to become the Wizard King.
When a giant demon attacks a city within the Clover Kingdom, the monstrous creature wreaks havoc, threatening to destroy everything in its path. Just as all hope seems lost, the first Wizard King appears, wielding incredible magic. In a fierce battle, he manages to defeat the demon, saving the city and its people. His victory marks the beginning of the long tradition of the Wizard King, who will protect the kingdom for generations to come. Over the years, the Wizard King, along with 9 squads of magic knights, continues to. In the present day, Asta and Yuno, 2 orphans raised together at the Church of Hage, are shown preparing for their future. Asta, who possesses no magical abilities, has been training relentlessly. He has completed 1,000 swings with the sword he received from his mysterious grimoire, determined to become strong enough to join the ranks of the magic knights. In contrast, Yuno, a prodigy with immense magical power, spends his days honing his abilities, practicing with elemental magic and demonstrating his natural talent by effortlessly chopping wood and shattering rocks. Sister Lily and Father Orsi visit Drought to discuss their foster sons taking the exam, too, afterward. The next day while Asta is training, Mash approaches him and says that orphans are too weak and poor to dream of becoming magic knights. However, Asta yells at him not to give up, declaring that he will prove anyone can. That night, Lily and Orsi prepare a special dinner of various Tato dishes for the boys before they leave in the morning. The boys depart and Lily remembers first meeting the boys and the night Yuno brought back an injured Asta. During their long journey to the royal capital, the boys continue training. The bustling city of GIGA buzzed with excitement as aspiring mages from all corners of the Clover Kingdom gathered to take the Magic Knight's entrance exam. Among them were Asta and Yuno, two boys from the remote village of Hage, each with dreams of becoming the Wizard King. As the candidates waited for the exam to begin, an unusual phenomenon occurred. Flocks of antibirds, small magical creatures known to be attracted to those with little or no mana, swooped down into the crowd. They avoided Yuno entirely, recognizing the overwhelming magical energy radiating from him. But Asta wasn't so lucky. The birds zeroed in on him, pecking and flapping around his head. As he tried to escape the relentless antibirds, he stumbled, quite literally, into a towering figure who exuded an intimidating presence. Looking up, Asta found himself face to face with Yami Sukahiro, the gruff and fearsome captain of the Black Bulls. Behind Yami stood two of his squad members, the suave and laid-back Finro Rollicase and the soft-spoken, eerie Gordon Agrippa. Yami, amused by Asta's wild antics, grabbed the boy by his head and offered a gruff comment about weaklings like him getting eaten alive in the Magic Knights. But rather than being cowed, Asta's fiery determination only flared brighter, catching Yami's attention for a brief moment before the captain moved on. Shortly after Yami left, Asta was approached by a cocky and self-assured candidate named Sek Bronzatsa. Striking up a conversation, Sek offered Asta a rundown of the Magic Knight captains as they arrived one by one, each making a grand entrance. There was the regal Nozel Silva of the Silver Eagles, the commanding Fugolian Vermilion of the Crimson Lions, the wild and unpredictable Jack the Ripper of the Green Mantises, the elegant yet formidable Charlotte Roselay of the Blue Roses, the sly and mysterious Geldra Poiset of the Purple Orchis, the sleepy yet enigmatic Dorothy Unsworth of the Coral Peacocks, the youthful prodigy Ril Boismortier of the Aqua Deer, and finally, the radiant William Vengeance of the Golden Dawn, whose presence seemed to captivate everyone in the room. Sek's commentary, though colorful, was laced with arrogance as he subtly positioned himself as superior to the other hopefuls. When the exam finally began, the candidates were subjected to a series of grueling tests designed to measure their magical prowess. Yuno dazzled everyone with his effortless skill, his wind magic proving both powerful and precise. In stark contrast, Asta struggled at every turn, his lack of magic making most of the tests impossible to complete. The final test of the day was a duel, where each candidate had to choose a partner to fight. Sek, seeing Asta as an easy target, eagerly volunteered to face him. He approached Asta with feigned friendliness, masking his intent to humiliate the magicless peasant in front of everyone. Asta, oblivious to Sek's scheming but undeterred by his own shortcomings, agreed to the match. As the duel began, Sek confidently activated his magic, creating a defensive barrier and preparing to toy with Asta. But before Sek could make his move, Asta unsheathed his massive anti-magic sword. With a single, decisive swing, he shattered Sek's barrier and sent him flying, stunning the crowd into silence. Standing tall in the aftermath, Asta declared his dream with unwavering conviction, "I'm going to become the Wizard King." Asta's determination and resilience are on full display. After defeating Sek Bronzatsa with ease, Asta boldly declares his goal of becoming the Wizard King. In one notable match, Yuno faces off against Salim Hapshas, nobleman who arrogantly believes his superiority as a noble will guarantee his victory. Selim uses his most potent spell in an attempt to overpower Yuno. However, Yuno calmly counters with his towering tornado, easily overwhelming Selim and proving his exceptional magical skill. Yuno's composure and strength further establish him as a standout contender in the competition. As the exam concludes, the squad captains begin selecting recruits. Yuno becomes the center of attention, with all captains vying to recruit him due to his immense potential and impressive performance. Yuno ultimately chooses to join the Golden Dawn, a prestigious and highly sought-after squad. In stark contrast, Asta receives no offers from any of the captains, leaving him momentarily disheartened. However, Yami Sukahiro, the captain of the Black Bulls, steps forward and confronts Asta. Yami acknowledges that Asta's lack of magical power and the mysterious origin of his anti-magic abilities make him an enigma, which is why other captains are hesitant to recruit him. Despite this, Yami sees potential in Asta's unyielding determination and relentless drive. When Asta passionately reaffirms his resolve to become the Wizard King, Yami recognizes his spirit and invites him to join the Black Bulls, a squad known for its eccentric and rowdy members. Without hesitation, Asta accepts the offer, thrilled to have finally taken a step toward his dream. Afterward, Yuno and Asta briefly reconnect to share their excitement about being chosen for their respective squads. However, their moment is interrupted when Asta excuses himself to use the restroom. Sek, bitter from his earlier defeat, follows Asta with malicious intent. He conjures a poisonous lizard spell to attack Asta, but Yuno intervenes and stops Sek before any harm is done. Asta is then taken to the Black Bull's base, eager to meet his new squadmates. As he opens the door, he is immediately blasted with a burst of fire magic, a chaotic welcome characteristic of the unpredictable Black Bulls. Despite the rough introduction, Yami officially welcomes Asta to the squad, marking the start of his journey as a magic knight. Yuno arrives at the base of the prestigious Golden Dawn squad, where he meets Klaus Lunetz, a senior member. Klaus, a disciplined and traditional mage, immediately warns Yuno that joining the Golden Dawn is not just a privilege, it comes with immense expectations. He makes it clear that Yuno, despite his exceptional abilities, will have to prove himself to gain acceptance within the squad. Klaus's attitude underscores the high standards and rigid hierarchy of the Golden Dawn, highlighting the stark difference in atmosphere compared to the Black Bulls. Meanwhile, Asta finds himself in a completely different environment at the chaotic Black Bull's base. Eager to introduce himself, Asta quickly realizes that the members of the Black Bulls are too preoccupied with their own antics to pay him any attention. The group's unruly and carefree nature contrasts sharply with the structured discipline of the Golden Dawn. It takes their captain, Yami Sukahiro, using his overwhelming presence, literally breaking a wall, to finally gather the squad together. One by one, the eccentric members of the Black Bulls introduce themselves to Asta. Their wild personalities range from the fiery Magna Swing to the playful Charmy Papitson and the unpredictable Luck Valtia. Despite their odd behaviors, it's evident that the squad operates more like a family than a traditional team. Asta, however, learns that earning his place in this unconventional group requires more than introductions. Magna decides to test Asta's mettle with an initiation ritual, starting with a grueling series of physical challenges, including push-ups and sit-ups. Though exhausting, Asta's relentless determination shines through. For the final trial, Magna challenges him to block a powerful magical attack. Using his anti-magic sword, Asta manages to deflect Magna's fireball attack back at him, showcasing not only his unique power but also his unwavering resolve. Magna, impressed by Asta's courage and capability, officially welcomes him into the Black Bulls and presents him with a robe, a symbol of his acceptance. As Asta celebrates his success, Noel Silva, a royal and another new recruit of the Black Bulls, watches from a balcony. Asta, brimming with excitement, is led to his new room by Magna Swing. For someone who grew up in the humble and crowded confines of the church, the idea of having a space to call his own feels like a dream come true. The small but cozy room, filled with the rustic charm of the Black Bull's chaotic base, seems like a palace to Asta. Overwhelmed with joy, he thanks Magna enthusiastically, promising to make the most of this opportunity. Magna, enjoying Asta's boundless energy, encourages him to write to the church and let them know about his achievement of joining the Magic Knights. Meanwhile, over at the Golden Dawn base, Yuno receives his own private room. Unlike Asta, Yuno approaches the situation with his usual calm demeanor. Klaus Lunetz, one of his squad mates, informs him that he'll soon begin learning about his Magic Knight duties. Back at the church, Sister Lily and the children are ecstatic when they receive Asta's and Yuno's letters. The surprise of both orphans making it into the Magic Knights spreads a wave of pride and joy among the church residents. The next day, Magna decides to show Asta around the Black Bull's base. Their headquarters is a sprawling, disorganized mess, reflecting the unruly nature of the squad itself. As they explore, Magna introduces Asta to one of the newest recruits, Noel Silva, a member of the royal family House Silva. At first glance, Noel's refined appearance and haughty demeanor clash with Asta's rough-and-tumble personality. Almost immediately, Noel mocks Asta, calling him an insect and belittling him for being a commoner. Annoyed by his defiance, Noel decides to demonstrate the difference between them by using her water magic. However, her spell goes awry, veering off course and splashing Magna instead. Drenched and irritated, Magna scolds her for her lack of control. Humiliated, Noel angrily tears off her Black Bull's robe and storms away, declaring that she doesn't belong in such a disgraceful squad. Later, Asta stumbles upon Noel in the forest, practicing her magic in solitude. He observes her struggling to hit a simple bullseye on a tree. When Noel notices Asta watching, she immediately assumes he's there to mock her. Attempting to silence him, she tries to fire a water spell at him, but it spirals out of control. The spell creates a massive water sphere, trapping Noel inside and threatening to drown her while wreaking havoc on the surrounding area. Hearing the commotion, Yami Sukahiro, the Black Bull's captain, arrives on the scene. Ever the unconventional thinker, Yami comes up with a bold solution. He decides to throw Asta directly at the water sphere. Asta's anti-magic sword pierces through the spell, breaking it apart and freeing Noel. Finro Rollercase, using his spatial magic, quickly intervenes, teleporting the pair to safety. As Noel regains her footing, she braces herself for Asta's ridicule, convinced that he'll laugh at her failure. To her surprise, Asta instead praises her incredible magical power, marveling at the sheer strength she possesses. For the first time, Noel softens, addressing Asta by his name instead of calling him an insect. The rest of the Black Bulls gather around and reassure Noel that she isn't alone in her struggles. They remind her that their squad is made up of misfits and failures who have all found a home together. With a renewed sense of belonging, Noel is welcomed back into the fold. Magna returns her robe, a symbol of her place within the Black Bulls. As she hesitates, Asta offers her his hand, helping her rise from the ground. In that moment, a bond of mutual respect and camaraderie begins to form between them, marking the start of Noel's journey toward accepting herself and her squad mates. Asta cleans, does the laundry. He realizes that he has no idea what Magic Knights are supposed to do. At breakfast in the cafeteria, Asta asks Noel Silva why she does not help him with the chores. She tells him that it is because she is royalty, but Asta believes that is not fair. Asta asks the group what Magic Knights are supposed to do. Magna Swing tells him that they protect the kingdom and handle security. Everyone else gives him their ideal versions of that answer. 1. Yami arrives and calls Magna to go with him on a mission. Asta asks to come along, but Magna says that they cannot bring any kids on an adult mission. Magna and Yami go to a casino and gamble away all their money and personal belongings. Yami asks for one more round and bets his grimoire. Instead, Seihi asks for them to do whatever he asks if he wins. Yami accepts the terms. They walk back to the Black Bull's base naked because they lost. They give Noel and Asta their first mission as Magic Knights, hunt wild boars near Sashi. Noel wonders if she should go since she cannot handle her magical powers. Magna says that this will help her learn to control them and that any mess they make he will clean it up. They ask Finral Rollercase to transport them to the village, but he tells them that he cannot go to places he has not been before. Magna says that they will travel by broomstick, but neither Noel nor Asta can fly one. Magna offers to give them a lift on his crazy cyclone and flies them to the village. Meanwhile, at Sashi, a group of people teleport there and defeat several boars. Heath Grace tells them that the magic stone is there and that they must find it. Asta gets chased by a wild boar while Noel, Silva and Magna swing watch. Noel tries to use her water magic to help him but ends up hitting him with it instead. Asta manages to take one down using his sword. He takes down the other four and they carry them back to Sashi. Along the way, Magna tells them about his nearby village and how when he was a kid he tried to take over Sashi. Magna challenged Seihi multiple times but lost every time. Seihi actually had enough power to become a magic knight and was the one who told Magna to take the exam. Magna says that Seihi was the one who showed him how to be a real man. The Black Bulls arrive at the village but find it covered in mist. Magna tells Asta to cut through it with his sword. They end up at the main square and find the townspeople huddled together with deadly ice spikes hanging over them. He finds Seihi on the ground, having been killed. Heath Grace sends a large ice block towards them but Asta saves them by cutting the magic in half. Asta asks Heath why he is there, to which Heath responds that he is getting rid of the townspeople because they are beasts. Asta tells him that he will protect these people. Heath and his men create an infinite flurry of icicles. The Black Bulls try to defend the townspeople but Heath keeps creating more icicles. Heath says that if they give up he will let them live but Asta refuses. When Anna begs for Noel's help, Noel is inspired and creates a dome of water over everyone to keep out the ice. Asta uses the cover to jump through and attack Heath Grace, but Heath breaks the boy's momentum by creating a patch of ice on the ground. Heath attacks Asta and Asta falls to the ground. Heath walks past him and tries to break through the wall of water. Magna knows that he must fight but is running low on magic. Suddenly, Asta attacks from behind but he is too slow and gets knocked back by ice. He tries again but is still pushed back. Magna decides to help Asta so he goes through the water wall to the outside. Magna tells Asta that they should recreate the Black Bull initiation ceremony, and unleashes prison kill buckshot before collapsing to the ground. Heath blocks some of the fireballs and lets other pass by, but Asta deflects them back from behind, knocking them into Heath and his men. Meanwhile, Noel creates a small shield to protect Magna from Heath's counterattack. Heath is engulfed by flames that will not go out. Asta uses this chance to attack him and hit him with his sword. Heath falls to the ground. Finally, the battle concludes with Magna binding the four mages, but one of them manages to escape. Meanwhile, Asta collapses from exhaustion and falls into a deep sleep. The grateful townspeople gather to thank the trio, Asta, Magna, and Noel, for saving their village. As the group takes a moment to rest, an anti-bird flies covering the magic stone that Heath and his men were searching for. Later, the trio visits Nick and Anna at the grave of their grandfather, Seihi. Nick shares his reflections, explaining that Seihi had admired the Magic Knights but harbored a regret of not striving harder in his youth to achieve greatness. Despite this, Seihi was deeply proud of Magna for becoming a Magic Knight. Meanwhile, in a shadowy location, the mage who managed to escape the battle makes their report to a mysterious figure. The figure, cloaked in darkness, Asta, Magna Swing, and Noel Silva return to the Black Bull's base. Yami Sukahiro tells them to be proud of the fact that they protected the townspeople. Vanessa Enoteka and Finral Rollercase return from the Magic Investigation Department but have no news about who the men were that attacked Sashi. Yami says that they are going to let the investigation department handle it. Yami tells them that the Wizard King acknowledged what they did and gave them a star. A star is awarded by the Wizard King based on a Magic Knight's performance. Vanessa goes on to explain that a star shows how much work a squad has done. They learn that Golden Dawn is currently at the top with 70 stars. Asta also learns that the Black Bulls have -30 stars. Yami then gives Asta his pay for working as a Magic Knight. He is shocked by how much it is, while Noelle is not very impressed. This upsets Asta, who says that it can buy at least 10 years worth of potatoes and that Sister Lily can make anything taste good. Noelle asks who Sister Lily is and Asta responds that she is the woman he is going to marry someday. Vanessa asks what they are going to do with their pay. Asta says that he is going to send some back to the church in Hage. Vanessa tells him to remember to spend some of it on himself and offers to take them shopping. The next day she takes them to the castle town GIGA. Asta is in awe of everything around him. He and Noelle watch as the rest of the Black Bulls spend their money. Vanessa takes the pair to the black market. Noelle is unsure about the place but opens up a bit more once Vanessa tells her that there might be a magic tool in the market that will help her control her magic. Noelle tries a necklace, but when she tries to use it, her attack hits a man passing by. It turns out to be Sek Bronzatsa. He starts to flirt with them, but then Asta shows up. He gets jealous because Asta is with two women. Suddenly, a man grabs a bag from an elderly lady. He runs off and the lady yells for help, so Asta gives chase. Asta chases after the thief, who is floating on a cloud. Sek Bronzatsa follows after him on his magic scooter. Asta uses his Demon Slayer sword to cut through the spell, and the cloud disappears. The thief takes off on foot and Asta continues to follow him. Sek rams into the thief with his bike. The thief falls to the ground and Sek stands over him laughing. The thief pulls out a paralyzed knife and stabs Sek in the foot, causing Sek to fall to the ground. Asta kneels at his side and Sek tells Asta to live out his dream for him since he is going to die. Sek closes his eyes but he does not die. Asta hits him in the face and yells at him for giving up on life so easily. Vanessa Enoteka puts an ointment on the wound, and Sek is healed because it was only a numbing poison. Sek leaves and takes the thief with him. Asta, Vanessa, and Noelle Silva return the stolen bag to the elderly woman. The three of them leave and do not see the elderly woman turn into Julius Navachrono, the Wizard King. He has been wandering around looking for new magic. The Wizard King spots Klaus Lunetz, Yuno, and Mimosa Vermilion flying overhead and decides to go after them. They are acting as bodyguards for Salim Hapshas on his journey to the Heart Kingdom. Klaus Lunetz wonders why Yuno was picked as one of the bodyguards if he beat Salim during the exam. Salim says that he requested Yuno as a bodyguard because he wanted to apologize. Salim tells him to make sure his dream of becoming the Wizard King comes true so he can brag to his children that he once fought the Wizard King. Salim asks Yuno to tell him more about him, so Yuno tells him about his past. Meanwhile, Klaus is still suspicious about this mission. Suddenly, black clouds appear. Yuno goes to check it out and is attacked by a group of bandits. Yuno falls off his broomstick but ends up defeating the assailants anyway, impressing both Salim and Mimosa. Salim suggests that they visit Yuno's home village to see how he grew up. Klaus tries to protest but Salim is adamant. They fly past the demon's skull and arrive at the church. Sister Lily comes out to greet them. Yuno is almost overrun by the children and Father Orsi. They ask them to stay and Salim agrees that they can spare an hour. Yuno gets pulled away by the children while the rest of them head into the church. Klaus is unhappy about the whole situation. The quiet evening at the chapel takes an unexpected turn as Sister Lily's abduction leads to a thrilling rescue. Salim Hapshas, Klaus Lunetz, Mimosa Vermilion, and Yuno have been enjoying a peaceful dinner with Orsi Orphi and Sister Lily Aquaria, sharing stories and updates about their lives. The conversation shifts when Yuno inquires about how much Asta has been sending to the church. The sheer amount shocks him, igniting a fire within Yuno as he pledges to send all of his next paycheck to the chapel to match his childhood rival's generosity. As the dinner winds down, Klaus reminds Selim that they should be heading back. Selim, clearly stalling, asks for more water. Sister Lily volunteers to fetch it, her kind and selfless nature compelling her to assist. Moments later, a scream pierces the night, followed by the shattering sound of a water jar. The group rushes outside, only to find that Sister Lily has been taken. Despite Klaus's insistence that their mission is to protect Selim, Yuno makes a bold decision to disobey and pursue the kidnappers. His resolve is unshakable, his goal singular: bring Sister Lily back. Darting into the forest, Yuno systematically confronts and overpowers the bandits one by one. His precision, speed, and mastery of wind magic prove to be insurmountable obstacles for the abductors. Eventually, Yuno reaches a clearing where Sister Lily is being held hostage by two remaining bandits. Their leader, Abra, steps forward and demands Yuno's grimoire in exchange for her safety, mocking Yuno by claiming he is nothing without it. Unflinching, Yuno refuses, his sharp eyes analyzing the situation. Before Abra can act, Klaus suddenly appears, launching a violent rotating lance spell that catches the bandit off guard. Klaus reveals the shocking truth: the entire abduction was orchestrated by Selim, who had hired the bandits out of spite after being humiliated during the Magic Night exams. Selim's bitterness stemmed from Yuno surpassing him, both in skill and in earning a spot in the Golden Dawn. Together, Klaus, Mimosa, and Yuno subdue the remaining bandits and free Sister Lily. As they prepare to leave, Klaus begins to worry about the whereabouts of the last bandit. To their surprise, Julius Navachrono, the Wizard King, arrives with the missing bandit in tow, disguised and ever playful. Julius praises their efforts, subtly encouraging Yuno's growth and reminding them all of the responsibilities that come with their positions as Magic Knights. Back at Hage, Sister Lily is warmly welcomed home. Meanwhile, Yuno, Klaus, and Mimosa return to the Golden Dawn headquarters, where Captain William Vengeance informs them of their reward, a star from the Wizard King. Klaus beams with pride, but he takes a moment to reprimand Yuno, urging him to avoid reckless solo actions in the future. Yuno, slightly chastised, agrees, though his quiet confidence suggests he has no regrets. At the Black Bull base, Asta hears of the Golden Dawn's new star and vows to catch up to them, his determination fueling his training. Elsewhere, the Wizard King examines reports of a mysterious anomaly, a potential new threat. With his trademark mix of curiosity and anticipation, he decides to assign the investigation to some of the kingdom's finest, setting the stage for a new adventure. At the Black Bull's base, the usual chaos reigns as Asta enthusiastically does push-ups while Magna Swing casually lounges on his back, adding weight to the exercise. The two, along with a few other squad members, are brainstorming names for the tiny bird that seems to have taken a liking to Asta. After some hilariously absurd suggestions, they settle on Nero. The little bird caws in what Asta takes as agreement, further boosting his energy. Their conversation is interrupted by Yami Sukahiro's imposing presence as he strides into the room with his usual nonchalant yet commanding air. He announces that a newly discovered dungeon near the Diamond Kingdom is their next mission. Dungeons, he explains, are ancient tombs filled with mana, relics, and traps. He adds that the Wizard King himself specifically chose Asta for this mission, much to the young mage's surprise and excitement. Yami then orders Noel Silva and Luck Valtia to accompany Asta, despite their protests about working together. Finral Rollercase opens a spatial portal to the dungeon, and the trio steps through, their journey beginning in earnest. As they enter the dungeon, its atmosphere is immediately oppressive, thick with an overwhelming presence of mana. Both Luck and Noel feel it instantly, marveling at its intensity, while Asta, who cannot sense mana, throws a fit in frustration. His tantrum inadvertently activates a trap spell, sending magical projectiles flying toward them. Asta instinctively summons his sword, negating the magic entirely. Luck, ever the thrill-seeker, sees this as an opportunity for fun. He dashes ahead, purposefully activating more traps to test Asta's reaction speed and anti-magic abilities. Asta, though exasperated, rises to the challenge, slashing through every spell that comes their way. As they venture deeper into the dungeon, Luck senses another presence nearby and bolts off to investigate, leaving Noelle and Asta alone. Asta, full of energy and ambition, starts talking about his dream of becoming the Wizard King in his ongoing rivalry with Yuno. Noelle, distracted by his enthusiasm, suddenly becomes aware that they are alone together and quickly charges ahead to avoid any awkwardness. Unfortunately, she activates a trap, and vines ensnare her. Asta leaps into action, slicing through the vines with his sword and freeing her. However, the trap resets, and this time the vines capture both of them. As Asta struggles against the magical bonds, a sudden burst of magic destroys the vines. Both turn toward the source of the attack and see none other than Yuno, standing confidently with his grimoire in hand. Yuno smirks at Asta, his usual calm demeanor masking a hint of satisfaction. "I told you I'd repay my debt," he says, referencing when Asta saved him during the Magic Knight entrance exam. Asta, momentarily stunned, breaks into a wide grin. "Yuno. So, you're here too. Let's see who can clear this dungeon first." Klaus Lunetz reprimands Yuno for aiding Asta and Noelle Silva, arguing that their mission is to explore and secure the dungeon, not assist other squads. When Mimosa Vermilion greets Noelle with a cheerful but subtly condescending tone, asking about her progress in magic. This prompts Noelle to view Mimosa as just as rude as ever. When Mimosa boasts about her squad earning a star, Asta proudly announces that his squad has earned one too. Klaus, skeptical of their achievement, dismisses their claim and questions their capabilities, particularly the absence of Luck Valtia, their third member. Klaus's criticism ignites Asta's fiery resolve, leading to a heated argument over their respective captains' merits. Despite the clash, the squads race deeper into the dungeon. Mimosa uses her magic to reveal the dungeon's layout, impressing everyone with her precision. Yuno, ever the confident prodigy, takes the lead, carrying his group with wind magic, while Asta and Noelle chase after them. Both Asta and Yuno are driven by an unspoken competition to reach the treasure chamber first, each determined to prove their superiority. Nero, Asta's enigmatic bird companion, guides them through the maze-like corridors. As the Clover Kingdom mages delve deeper, a messenger delivers troubling news to the Wizard King, Julius Navachrono. A squad from the Diamond Kingdom, led by the cunning and experienced mage Lotus Humalt, has also entered the dungeon. However, Julius remains calm, confident in the strength of the young knights he has sent on this mission. Elsewhere in the dungeon, Luck Valtia confronts Lotus's subordinates, quickly defeating them with his relentless lightning magic. His thirst for battle drives him to seek out Lotus himself. During their clash, Lotus reveals the dire state of the Diamond Kingdom, explaining their invasion as a desperate attempt to secure resources. Yet Luck, consumed by his obsession with fighting, shows no interest in Lotus's reasoning. As their battle intensifies, Lotus employs his strategic cunning, filling the room with his magic, subtly weakening Luck without the young mage realizing. Luck begins to feel the effects of the spell, his movements slowing, but his unyielding spirit refuses to falter. Meanwhile, the Golden Dawn squad reaches a massive set of ornate doors, signaling the potential location of the treasure chamber. However, danger strikes as Mimosa is suddenly hit by a spell and collapses, injured by a hidden Diamond Kingdom mage. Klaus, Yuno, and Mimosa brace themselves for an ambush. The story opens with Luck Valtia as a young boy, his ever-present smile a source of discomfort for those around him. His cheerful demeanor, rather than endearing, feels unsettling to his peers, and his mother resents him for reasons she never explains. One day, everything changes when Luck discovers his lightning magic. The first time he unleashes it is against a noble boy who tries to humiliate him. With a single devastating attack, Luck defeats him, earning fear and a grudging respect from others. But at home, his mother's reaction is far from pride. Instead, she reinforces a cruel lesson: no one in this world will help you. You have to win. Keep winning, or you'll have nothing. Her words stay with Luck, driving him into a cycle of seeking strength and validation through battle. Years later, during a mission with the Black Bulls, Luck faces Lotus Humalt, a cunning mage from the Diamond Kingdom. As the two clash, Lotus quickly realizes that Luck's fighting style, though powerful, is chaotic and single-minded. Exploiting this, he uses his solid smoke binding spell to trap Luck, immobilizing him. Lotus taunts him, speaking of the futility of raw power without strategy. But Luck, undeterred, struggles against the bindings, refusing to give up. Elsewhere, Mimosa Vermilion uses her magic to heal herself after an earlier encounter, while Klaus Lunettes and Yuno face off against Mars, another mage from the Diamond Kingdom. Mars's power overwhelms the two, and Klaus orders Yuno to prioritize reaching the treasure chamber. Noel Silva and Asta, meanwhile, sense the energy of Luck's magic growing erratic. Asta, eager to help, suggests they go back, but Noel hesitates. Luck lives for fighting, she argues. If we interfere, we might distract him. We should focus on the treasure chamber. Asta, though reluctant, agrees, trusting her judgment. Back in the battle, Luck's desperation grows as Lotus tightens the smoky prison around him. But just as Lotus prepares to deliver a decisive blow, Asta bursts onto the scene, slicing through the binding spell with his anti-magic sword. Free at last, Luck snaps at Asta, insisting he doesn't need anyone's help. "I can handle this alone," he yells, his lightning crackling dangerously around him. Asta stands firm. "Maybe you can handle it alone," he says, "but you don't have to. We're a team, Luck." For a moment, Luck falters. The concept of teamwork feels foreign to him, yet something about Asta's conviction stirs a forgotten part of him. Lotus, however, isn't giving them time to bond. He summons a degenerate king's smoke prison, enveloping the area in thick, suffocating smoke. This time, instead of recklessly charging ahead, Luck strategizes. Using his lightning, he herds Lotus into a narrow space, creating an opening for Asta to strike with his sword. The plan works, and Lotus is forced to retreat, though he promises they haven't seen the last of him. As the smoke clears, Luck looks at Asta and Noel, realization dawning. For the first time, he understands that he's not alone, that his squad mates aren't just comrades but friends willing to fight by his side. Meanwhile, Yuno defies Klaus's earlier orders and returns to help him against Mars. When Klaus asks why he came back, Yuno replies simply, "Because we're in this together." Lotus Humalt, who had been a key target, tries to escape the chaos. Asta, Noel Silva, and Luck Valtia immediately give chase, determined to prevent his getaway. Despite their efforts, Lotus manages to flee, but he remains calm, convinced that Mars, the formidable mage of the Diamond Kingdom, will be able to handle the situation from here on out. As the battle progresses, Klaus Lunettes, ever the tactical thinker, takes notice of the peculiar mage stones embedded into Mars's forehead. These stones are not mere accessories, they amplify Mars's magical abilities. Klaus realizes with dread that the Diamond Kingdom has been embedding magical objects into people's bodies in order to artificially enhance their power. Klaus, unwilling to let Mars gain any more of an advantage, charges at him, but Mars quickly counters by summoning a Talos puppet to block Klaus's attack. The situation escalates, and Mars's magical prowess becomes even more evident. Meanwhile, Yuno faces off against Mars directly. Despite using his impressive wind magic and all the force he can muster, Mars seems impervious to Yuno's attacks. Mars confidently declares that Yuno's magic is completely ineffective against him and that it is futile for him to continue fighting. Mars attempts to crush Yuno with his massive weapon, the Levitine, but just as it is about to land, Asta arrives, leaping in with his anti-magic sword to cut the weapon clean in half. Asta's timely arrival surprises everyone, and he immediately challenges Yuno to see who can defeat Mars first, sparking the rivalry between the two friends once again. Klaus, still reeling from the fact that Asta was able to save Yuno when magic appeared useless against Mars's powerful attacks, can hardly believe his eyes. He struggles to accept that Asta, a boy born without any magical power, managed to be the one to rescue Yuno in such a critical moment. His disbelief only deepens as he watches Asta continue to defy the odds. Meanwhile, Mars, far from being intimidated, begins to generate mineral clones of himself, each just as powerful as the original. These clones swarm the battlefield, forcing Asta to fight with all his might. Asta's anti-magic sword proves effective as he slashes through the clones, sending Mars flying across the room. Luck, ever the electrifying presence in battle, begins zipping around, destroying the remaining clones with ease, each strike sending sparks flying. Klaus, still in shock, can't wrap his head around how someone without magic, someone who should be powerless in the face of such opponents, can be so strong. Noel, seeing Klaus's confusion, explains to him that Asta's power isn't about having magic, his anti-magic sword nullifies any magic it comes into contact with. Klaus's disbelief grows even more intense as he watches the spectacle unfold before him. He wonders if Asta simply got lucky, but Noel's calm explanation shows the depth of Asta's abilities. His power is no accident. It's a force all its own. The battle takes a turn when Mars returns with his heavy armored Titan, a formidable construct designed to squash Asta under its massive weight. Mars, now completely unrestrained, demands to know who Asta truly is. Asta responds with quiet confidence, declaring that he was born without magic, but he is determined to become the Wizard King. He then launches himself into the air, breaking through the heavy armored Titan with a powerful strike from his anti-magic sword. The immense force sends Mars plummeting to the ground, unable to maintain his formidable armored form. The treasury of the dungeon sparkled like a dragon's hoard, and Klaus Lunetz was trying very hard to maintain his composure as he adjusted his glasses for the 15th time in 10 minutes. Finally, he huffed, staring down at the thoroughly restrained and defeated Mars. That brood is under control. Now, can we act like civilized people and explore this treasury properly? Asta, standing nearby with his ever-present grin, hefted his sword onto his shoulder. Yeah. Time to grab some cool loot. Without waiting for Klaus to finish his complaints, Asta took a mighty swing at the door barring their way. The anti-magic sword obliterated the lock in a single blow. Klaus jumped back, aghast. Do you have any respect for ancient architecture? This door is probably older than your brain cells combined. Doesn't matter. Asta hollered, charging into the room. I'm here to find something awesome. Inside, the treasury looked like it had been curated by a wizard with way too much time and glitter. Yuno, ever the stoic, approached a pedestal holding a glowing scroll. This looks weird, he murmured, picking it up with the delicacy of someone handling a baby burning. The glowing symbols on the scroll disappeared. Yuno blinked. It's gone. Mimosa leaned closer. Did you break it? I don't break things, Yuno said, looking pointedly at Asta, who was poking a suspicious-looking lock on the wall with his sword. Meanwhile, Nero flew in, chirping and pecking at Asta to get his attention. What? You want me to, what, punch the wall? Kick it? Come on, Nero, give me a sign here. Asta said, staring at the lock like it was a complex math problem. But before anyone could solve the mystery of Nero's frantic behavior, a deafening crash echoed through the treasury. Mars had freed himself, and he was mad. His heavy armored Titan gleamed ominously, and now, for extra sparkle, he was sporting a phoenix feathers robe that looked like it belonged at a wizard fashion show.